Hey guys, and we're back, and we have special guest Coach Aubrey on the show. Glad to welcome him today.
Good to be back, man. Enjoyed it.
Woke up feeling like I was on the moon. I woke up feeling like I need 100
All right.
It's great to be back here, and obviously there's been quite a few newsworthy stories in the sports world these days. Let's start off with Steve Spurrier, I think, unexpectedly resigning. Chandler, what is your opinion of Steve Spurrier resigning?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Resigning in the middle of the season, quitting on your players. I mean, I don't think there's any health issues here. He could have took a leave of absence if he wanted to. You got to finish the whole season out. You signed up for the whole season. I've never heard of another scenario where a coach retires in the middle of a season. If they were 5-0 right now, he'd still be there. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous to quit on his guys.
Yeah, incorrect.
Because win or lose, Nathan, you're supposed to be with your players. What does that show?
I'm just going to tell you wrong, but
He's got no class. He talked junk about Tennessee, about Florida, about all of those programs. And you know what finally happened? It caught up to him. Because you know how karma is. You know.
Karma.
Maybe he was scared to play them programs. Like Clemson.
I'm just going to jump in here right
Go
quick,
ahead,
Chandler.
Nathan. Go ahead.
That was unclassy what you had said on Facebook last night.
How is that unclassy?
Calling him unclassy because I think the main reason you have a problem with Steve Spurrier is because he's repeatedly beat the Clemson Tigers 5 years in a row. Actually, he had a streak on Clemson, and I think that bothers you. And we don't know the full outline on why he left. We don't know exactly.
So you think
the thing about college, he's 70 years old. I know he says he has the health of a 50-something-year-old man. College football, that's a stressful job, okay?
It is.
And more than likely, they were going to ask him to retire eventually anyway, okay? The rebuilding process needs to start sooner rather than later. And they're going to have to rebuild eventually. It needs to start sooner rather than later, okay?
I'm scratching my head at this. He's talked more crap about a lot of programs. I just find it obvious.
Well, he backed it up. Has he not backed it up? That's Steve Spurrier.
Not about what he said this year. I mean, he said a lot of
he's still himself. Okay, just because he's losing.
We're not talking about the merits of South Carolina's program or Steve Spurrier's job. You seem to have an issue with in your opinion, being unclassy. And you tend to think there's reasons he thinks it's unclassy.
I think the reason he feels that way is because Steve Spurrier is a better coach than Dabo Swinney.
That's up for debate. I mean, that's up for debate.
Well,
you might have said that.
National championship coach.
Nathan.
Dabo will never back that up. He will never win a national championship. As long as he's at Clemson. But I'm going to go ahead and pounce on
No, or maybe it's the fact that you just let people force feed you evidence.
I'm going to go and tell you something. The only thing that's force feeding me is the stats and what he's accomplished. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you if it was not for Steve Spurrier, where would South Carolina football be right now? He is the most winningest coach in South Carolina history. And he wasn't even there that long.
Guys, I think we're talking about two different... You're talking about the move being unclassy. You're talking about Steve Spurrier's success as a coach. I don't think Chandler is really coming at this from a success standpoint.
I don't see this as unclassy at all. He completely turned your program around.
We ever seen another scenario.
If he wants to leave,
he basically said in his press conference that his team sucked and he didn't want to coach him anymore. He basically said that. How is that? How can you stand and take that?
Well,
if I was one of the players, I'd want to knock him out right now. I mean, if they were undefeated,
if I was a 20-year-old defensive lineman that 6'5", 250 350 hitting the weight room every day, would I want to hit a little short 7-year-old man? No, I would not. Okay.
But how could you?
Guys, wait. Let's bring it back. We're not talking about 6'5", 350 pounders hitting.
I'm not feeling what you're saying. He has the right to leave whenever he wants to. Okay. His players knew that he was going to retire eventually.
But in the middle of the season,
when they committed to South Carolina, they knew he was going to retire. They knew he was almost 7 years old whenever they would have committed. He's 7 years old. They knew he wasn't going to be there forever. And all he's doing is starting the rebuilding process early.
Look.
Who knows? Sean Elliott might be a good coach.
All he's doing is trying to save his little image that he has left. But I actually think he ruined his image by the way.
Okay. And I mean, we can go round and round.
So you're going to completely take away a national championship.
He didn't win it at South Carolina. If you
The
think he
second
did.
most titles as an SEC coach in history. That all goes away because he retired in the middle of a season that really doesn't matter.
Really doesn't matter. You think them players, them seniors, think that season really doesn't matter? That is talk about disrespectful. That's disrespectful right there. I mean, you're being disrespectful.
I'm being
The
disrespectful.
players work their butts off every single day in practice for this coach, and he's just gonna walk out on them.
I don't think it's me being disrespectful. I think you're just hating on someone that has repeatedly beat your team.
That's in the past.
And he is talking junk
Hold
about
on,
my team.
guys,
but I still respect him.
I don't
You
think we're gonna
respect
get.
anybody.
I don't think
Because-
we're gonna get consensus here. I mean, I
But
think you.
Nathan,
guys
you-
see-
But you respect
Let him talk. Nathan.
Wake Forest. You respect Boston College, but you will not respect Steve Spurrier.
I respect the stuff he's done, except for this move right here. I just don't get the move. Let Joe.
You've always-
Joe's got some.
Listen now. Obviously, you guys, there's no common ground in between you on this issue, which is fine. My only observation is people I really respect who are Carolina fans seem to be okay with it. The people who seem to have the biggest problem with this are the people who don't like Steve Spurrier for one reason or another. This is just another arrow to throw him. I'm not going to comment whether I think it's classy, not classy. I do think there's more to this story that might come out in the future. I don't know what ultimately motivated this decision, so I'm not going to have a personal comment on this situation. You notice who doesn't like it and who likes it, and then you see who they root for. It kind of says something.
But don't you think it's kind of weird all of a sudden?
No, it's not.
I mean, I'd have to hear more details. I mean, it is. I will acknowledge that it is unusual. But let's go ahead and move on. Another bit of news.
Well, one last remark you have brought up. You said only the people that don't like Spurrier are the ones that are mad because they're the haters. Like as Chandler will say, the haters are going to hate. I'm pretty sure he stole that from Taylor Swift. But I mean, Chandler,
Really, Taylor Swift gets.
you
off
stole
the
that
top
from
of
her.
Joe.
Well, you're the one that stole it.
Can we
from
move
her.
on, Nathan?
But
Please.
well,
Can we move on?
last
Can
remark,
we move
Chandler,
on?
You're hating on a good coach.
We know you're
When the
taking
South
up for
Carolina
somebody you
fans
know very
appreciate
well.
what he's done for the program, but the fan of the team that he repeatedly beat is mad. You know what that is.
Sometimes I wonder if you're even a South Carolina fan or a Tennessee fan. I mean, I can't.
I respect
the
another
two.
SEC team that plays a tough schedule.
Yeah, that's how it works. If you're in the SEC,
I
we
respect
all
a team
win.
that plays no.
If Auburn goes to the national championship, Tennessee won the national championship. That's what you think. But let's move on.
Let's move on. Another bit of news coming from yesterday. USC has reportedly fired Steve Sarkisian after several instances where he has shown up to public locations intoxicated. And before we even get into takes on this, I do want to say, represent the Chandler and Nathan show and saying we do sincerely hope he gets better.
We do.
This is a disease. We're rooting for Sarkisian, but Chandler, how do you feel the USC administration has handled this situation?
Terribly. I think that they've handled it bad because this is not his first offense. And to me, it's bad because it's not the first time. He's done it before. The first time he didn't even get a suspension or any kind of fine. All they did was joke around about it and make the coach do up-downs. Now, how is that responsible? In any other profession, if you show up drunk, you're probably either going to be sent home for the day or get fired one. I mean, I don't understand this. I feel like I understand you want to stand behind him and you can still do that. And I just don't get it. I mean,